Welcome to Spartan Sports Beat. I'm Steve Balson, bringing you the latest in the world of St. Thomas Aquinas College athletics. In this edition, we'll take a look at the sport of women's lacrosse, and we're joined today by the head coach of the Stac women's lacrosse team, Stephanie Hopkins. Steph, thanks for coming by.
Thank you, Steve.
Stephanie, first we're going to talk a little bit today about your background in the sport of women's lacrosse. You come in with quite a pedigree before your coaching days. Tell us a little about that.
I'm a Nyack native. I went to Nyack High School. I was an All-American at Nyack High School, and then I went on to play college at the University of Massachusetts. I played there 4 years. I was a 3-year starter, and I made it to 3 Atlantic 10 championships and two NCAA championships too as well.
So from there, transitioning from your playing career, how was it that you came about being at St. Thomas Aquinas, and how did you end up in the coaching position?
When I was in college, I loved everything about the game. I'm more of a men's style of the game. In my 4 years at UMass, I had great coaches, and they always supported me throughout playing, and they always used to say, Steph, you're a coach on the field, you're a coach on the field. And I never understood that until my senior year when I had knee surgery and I couldn't play as much. So I was a coach on the field and a coach on the sideline. So I really learned the game through film and working extra with the coaching staff, making practice plans and just following them in their footsteps. So when I did get the opportunity to be the assistant coach my first year, I was a little nervous about it, but I ended up handling it and loving it, and then becoming the head coach in my second year here.
Now, you've had a background that extends, as you mentioned, through your high school career, your college career. You've been in the sport for a while. Let's talk a little bit about the evolution of women's lacrosse. It's a sport that the men's game has been around at some level for a long time, obviously, but the women's game seems to really have taken on an increased popularity in recent years. What's your feeling on that?
I think it's an awesome thing. Lacrosse has been in my family for a really long time. My brother played, my dad also coached at Nyack as well. And I think it's great. I think the sport of lacrosse is taking on more of a men's style game. It's quicker, it's faster, and the rules are more physical, and I think girls are starting to really like it. And it's kind of taking over what like youth soccer used to be like, and there's more travel teams and more showcases on the weekends, and women's lacrosse is just booming all over the place, and more colleges are getting it. If you look at all Division I programs and D2 programs are really exploding with the sport. I think it's a great sport. I love the game of it. I think it's run very well. It tends to be a little physical, and some people don't like it, but I think overall it's a great sport, and I think lacrosse is really going to take over and be one of the top sports in this upcoming.
Well, you've had an opportunity now to work with the program for a couple of years. The program's been around for roughly a decade. How has your tenure been? Where did the program start from when you came in? Where do you feel it is now? And where do you expect to see it going in the near future?
My first year was actually, the program was actually going to be folding at the time, and a young man, Mike Looney, actually took the program over and said he was going to be the head coach, and he got in contact with me after I graduated and said, would you be interested in being my assistant? And I said, at first I wasn't really sure if I wanted to. I was very young, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to go right back into lacrosse. I wasn't sure if I was going to go back to school, so I was a little nervous about it. But then I took it on and I said, wow, I really love this. And the first year there was a lot of bumps, and you know, we didn't have a facility, we didn't have practice fields, we didn't do a lot of things that I wanted to do. So I think having more people wanting the program to grow now is really awesome. I think the athletic staff is really helping us to move this along. And now, my second year as the head coach, I treat it like a Division I program, and we have practices at all hours of the day. We watch film, we have scouting reports, and I think that is what we needed to do. And I think the girls are really grasping that and learning a lot through that way and that style of play.
And of course, doing a lot of running, which is the beginning and the end of the sport of lacrosse. Let's take that through as you are building the program now, and What do you do as a recruit? What are you looking for in athletes? And how are you getting them to come to St. Thomas Aquinas?
My first thing when I recruit is I want to meet the athlete. I want to meet their family. I want to get a good relationship with them. That's my first goal, is getting a relationship. My second thing is obviously, their academics, see where they are, because Stac is leads for academics, and I always want, my athletes to be doing well in the classroom as well. And then thirdly, I look at their athletic ability, not so much their lacrosse ability. I look about their feet, their footwork, how they play on the field, how they play off ball. Like, I hate getting film of a player and they're just by themselves. What is that telling me? That's not telling me that they're a team player. That's not telling me they're in shape. That's not telling me a lot of things. So I tend to look at those 3 points, and then back to my first point is just their relationship and building a relationship. I'm young, so it's kind of a process. Family sometimes asks me, you're young, and that stuff is sometimes hard, but I think building a relationship is key, and being on a level for the athlete. Being so young, I am just right out of college, so I'm very new to the game. I know the game very well, so I think that is a good point too.
Now, let's talk a little bit about the players that you have this year. The program has come from a rough start in your first year to a 500 season a year ago. This year, undefeated in the early going and really heading in a positive direction. Who are the key players that you look toward this year, both as upperclassmen and underclassmen, for the next generation of players?
Yeah, I have a bunch of upperclassmen that are great leaders. I have 4 captains that are really great leaders. We have Becky Torres on the defensive side, where she really brings a voice on the defense, because that's where you need most of your talking. And then I have Kelsey Hall, who just brings a leadership all over the field and off the field. And then I have Johanna Mitchell, who kind of plays behind the cage and tends to control the attacking zone as being the player at X, and just running the offense, running in plays, listening to my keys when I tell her to. And then Stephanie Brown, who she was a midfield for us the past 2 years, and we stuck her on the defensive end, and she's really just taking on that role and just embracing it and really coming up big and strong for us in that, and just making up great cause turnovers and then pushing the ball up the field, which we need.
And those are a lot of the players. Is there anybody else, any younger players or anybody in the wing maybe who's not on the field yet, who you think is going to help bring this program to the next level?
Actually, we have a very young team, which is awesome and great for me. Our leading scorer right now, Genevieve Stickney, who's also our leading scorer last year, and she's just really taking on that role and just loving it, and she really loves the pressure that she gets every day, and she really works really hard at what she does, and she's just an amazing player, and she's just going to do great things for us here at Stac. And then I have Maggie Sharp, who also transferred here last year, and she's our second leading scorer right now. She plays kind of on a lefty side, so we got a good balance with her back there, and she really just rises to the occasion, really puts the ball in the back of the net for us a lot. And then we have Alexis Saris, who's a midfielder for us, who is a sophomore as well. So this class is really just stepping up from last year to this year and just really taking charge and doing what they have to do to get us to win. And then most of all, the girl in the cage is a freshman for us, and she's been ECC Goalie of the Week twice so far this season, and she is just putting on a large role for us. She comes up with huge saves for us, and just that voice that we always needed. We always kind of lacked that in the years past, and that was our main goal, was to get someone in the cage to really help us, and she's been doing great for us. And Katie's going to have a lot for the next few years, and we're excited for her as well.
Well, it seems like a lot of pieces are in place for this team to make some noise, not only this year, but in the years to come. Coach Steph Hopkins, we wish you and the team all the best.
Thank you, Steve.
Stephanie Hopkins, the head coach of the St. Thomas Aquinas College women's lacrosse team. We're going to have much more coming up for you on the women's lacrosse program in just a moment. This is Spartan Sports Beat. Welcome back to Spartan Sports Beat. Steve Balson here at Spartan Studios, and today we're focusing on the sport of women's lacrosse. We're joined today by Genevieve Stickney from the Stac women's lacrosse team. Genevieve, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Genevieve, you're a sophomore on the team. First of all, we'll talk a little bit about how you ended up here at St. Thomas Aquinas. Tell us about your background and what you've done in the sport of lacrosse.
Okay, well, I am from Long Island and I go to Bayport Blue Point. Well, I went to Bayport Blue Point High School. I was on varsity for all 4 years when I was in high school. And then I started looking to go to college for lacrosse, and I really wanted to be at a small school where I wanted to make an impact on the lacrosse team. So I figured that this would be my best school to be attending, and I loved the program for academics, so I ended up here in the end.
And you came here last year was your first season, and you made an immediate impact, not just within the program, but also conference-wide. You were Rookie of the Week a couple of times. What was that like for you, that adjustment coming into college last season and playing varsity at that level?
Well, it's definitely a huge difference coming from high school and playing college lacrosse. No one really understands that the sport is so much different. There's so much more you can do. I chose this school because the time management that you have to put into being a Division II athlete and going to school also is like a huge difference from high school. You have to know how to control your time because you have to be focused on lacrosse and you have to be focused on school and having practice every single day. You have to know that you have to be focused in class as well, not just on the field.
Knowing last year that you led the team in scoring, you came into a program that had had a tough year the year before, and seeing it get to the 500 level last year, that had to be pretty satisfying for you. Is that something that you thought about a lot?
I definitely did think about that. I know that my team has potential to go so far this season. We went from being 8-18 last year to a 7-0 team right now, and that's a huge difference from last year. Our whole team communicates so well on the field. Our leadership is amazing, and having confidence on the field is what really has brought us to this part.
And as you look at where the team is growing and going toward, and again, you still have 2 years in front of you, you have Coach Stephanie Hopkins who's growing along with you and with the team. How much incentive does that give you toward not just this year, but the next 2 years of your career?
A huge incentive. Steph Hopkins, she knows what to bring in. Our recruits are all amazing. Our goalie is one of the top players on our team. Without her, we would not be where we are right now. She has made a huge difference, and all of our freshmen came to play, and they've been doing really well.
As your team progresses, do you have specific goals, whether it be in terms of how many games you might want to win or in the conference or in the region? What kind of things do you set that go beyond just winning and losing an individual game?
Well, right now being 7-0 is a huge privilege. We never even thought we'd be here, and it's a huge privilege. We want to be able to beat our biggest team, which is Molloy on Wednesday. They're our biggest rivals, and they've beaten us for the past 2 years. And we really can make a difference and show the conference that we're not here to mess around. We're really trying to get far and be in playoffs and show everyone what we're here for.
And you make a great point now, because the team approaches the conference schedule, and there's a chance now. It's nice to have those non-conference victories, but you get in and the games mean a little bit more, and there's some rivalries and a lot of familiar opponents out there.
Yes, it's so different playing conference team because all the teams we're going to play in conference are so alike with one another, but them seeing that we're 7-0 right now, they're saying, wow, this team's really changed and this could be a big battle, and we want to show Moy that we're going to be a big battle, and it's not going to be easy.
As you think back on your freshman year last year and as a sophomore this year, are there any upperclassmen, any seniors, or any players in particular that you particularly have gotten a lot of leadership out of, and that maybe you're learning a lot that you can pass along?
Yes, I think Becky Torres is the best leader I've ever met. She knows what to say on the field. She's the most positive person I've ever met. She knows how to bring someone up from being down. It's not just Becky either. It's all of them. Kelsey, she's always telling the girls to keep their head up all the time. Steph Brown, she always knows when to say the right thing. I just couldn't thank them enough. They're all great. Johanna knows what to say, when to say it. She's always there when you need her. I think all of our captains are amazing.
Well, it sounds like the core of an outstanding team. It's certainly off to a great start, and we know that as the team in the future progresses, that Genevieve, you're going to be a great part of it, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Genevieve Stickney of the St. Thomas Aquinas College women's lacrosse team, and that's the subject of our show today. We'd like to thank our guests, head coach Stephanie Hopkins and Genevieve Stickney, for being with us and once again highlighting the Stac women's lacrosse program. St. Thomas Aquinas Spartan Sports Beat is a production of the St. Thomas Aquinas College Department of Athletics and JHP Productions. Until next time, this is Steve Balson from Spartan Studios saying so long from Spark Hill.